What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. I've got 3 picks that I've put down that I'm going to take you through today. If that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice and the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
So before we jump into the 3 picks, do have to recap the day that I just had. Didn't create content last night, but did put some free picks out on Winnable this morning. How do we go? Minus 2.6 units. What the hell was that? Minus 2.6 units yesterday. And what's funny is that the straight picks actually hit. So I was pretty happy with the reads on that. But what I'm extremely disappointed in was a type of bullshit that I played with my value plays. Instead of my normal value plays that I would normally run, which had been losing for the last 2 days, instead I ran same game parlays, like bitch ass parlays, really. And that didn't work for me either. And it was really disappointing because had I ran value plays on the straight bets that I had, would have hit a dumbbells combo, would have made 4 to 6 units profit today, and everyone would be happy. But no, a lot of people not happy with me. I'm a piece of shit, apparently. But I know that's not true. The NBA has been wacky as hell for the last couple of days. A lot of my friends in this business struggling as well. Same type of shit, but I'm accountable for the bad things that I put out, and I'm always looking to get better. So let me talk to you about what happened today. I went 4-2 on straight picks. The two that I did lose, I was extremely confident in them hitting. Nick Smith Jr. took him for over 13.5 points. We took this early, well before LaMelo was ruled out, expecting him to get ruled out, line to move up, great value, right? 13.5 we took. LaMelo was ruled out. This moved to 17.5. Then Nick Smith was announced that he's coming off the bench. It moved back down to 14.5. At the end of the day, we had a great line, 13.5 points. It doesn't matter because Nick Smith Jr. played like absolute ass today. We needed 13.5 points. He took 13 shots in this game. He missed every single three-pointer, and he finished on 11 points. Like, that's not a bad bet. Unfortunately, Nick Smith didn't perform today, and it is what it is. Also took Sam Hauser over 10.5 points. Now, his hit rate, his performances without Jason Tatum, excellent. Without Jaylen Brown, excellent. Without both of them, he was going to play 30 minutes in this game. He ends up playing 29 minutes, doesn't score 10.5 points, why it lost, but this was frustrating as hell. He saw the minutes. He had a lot of shots early on. Unfortunately, he was bricking a lot of them. I think it was 2 from 7 from deep in this game. He normally shoots a lot better than that. And to rub salt into the wound, his replacement, I don't even know his name, but some other light-skinned guy off the bench comes on, gives him 20 points in like 14 minutes. He did exactly what Sam Hauser normally does. So that's a bit of variance on that side. Like, I didn't think that was a bad bet either. Yeah, I could have pivoted to rebounds. That was one that I did think about. But what else can you do? Sam Hauser, it's the shooter's experience. Did hit on a couple of other plays. We had 4 winners there. Kawhi Leonard over his points prop. He cashed this early in the third quarter. Kawhi Leonard, last 4 games now, shooting at an extremely high clip. Took Keon Johnson over 14.5 points and rebounds. I felt like this was quite sweaty. Brooklyn's playing every single person 20 minutes, but he did get there in the end. Terrence Mann over his points and assists. He covered both his points prop and his assist line today. I thought that was a great read. And Trent Watford took him over 2.5 assists. He cashed this in the first 8 minutes that he was on the court. I also bet on him to get 5 assists. That was like plus 400. Then he got stuck on 4. So I don't know what the hell happened there, but it was good enough for us to cash the straight pick. So I'm feeling pretty good. At least the singles are back on track. When those things aren't looking good, that's when I get a little bit nervous. But the ones that did lose, I didn't hate them either. So overall, I was happy with all the straight picks that I put out. I actually feel really good about this upcoming slate, believe it or not, despite the bad results over the last couple of days. I feel like we've got some good matchups, some great games. I've got 3 bets down now, but I've got a list of like 10 to 15 different players that I do like. So I'll take you through a couple of those leans as well, but let's get through these 3 picks. Let's go. So we're jumping into props madness. Best tool you're going to find if you like betting on NBA player props, advanced data, advanced filtering, shot zones, you name it, they got it. Go ahead and check it out. You get a 7-day free trial and 25% off if you use the code DAFT when you sign up. propsmadness.com. Go check them out. Let's get to these 3 picks. 2 of them, you're going to have a good idea of who these people are because we've bet on them many times before. The last one, you're probably like, who the hell is that guy? But we'll talk about it. So the first one that I've already put down is in the Lakers versus Nuggets game. You heard it right. You saw it. He's in the thumbnail. Luka Doncic. Taking his over 17.5 rebounds and assists. Love the look here for Luka up against the Denver Nuggets. So the first thing I'll call out here about Luka Doncic, we've got a 1-point spread in this game. So it should be competitive. Luka's going to play 36 plus minutes in this one, provided he doesn't get injured. Now, if we look at the games since he's joined LA, really looking at the games without LeBron James, I think that's the main point. He's over this line in 3 out of 4 games, averaging 20 rebounds and assists. So extremely high usage rate. We're going to continue to see that in this game here in a fantastic matchup. The only game where he went under was against the Milwaukee Bucks. That was a 20-point blowout win. That was a game where Luka had like 11 rebounds, but he only had 3 assists because the Lakers offense absolutely sucked. What else can you say? But things have returned to normal. The Lakers looking much better with Luka steering the ship around. So he only had the 3 assists against the Bucks. I don't think he runs into that same problem here against Denver. Denver allows the most assists in the league. They've pretty much done that all year. In terms of a game total, we're looking at 231, so it's decent. The points should fly, and so should the assists. So I do like Luka to dime up in this game. Should be able to find some spot-up shooters. I think Dalton Connect could have a good game. Gabe Vincent could have a good game shooting the ball. Jackson Hayes could catch a couple lobs as well. Austin Reeves on the receiving end of those passes. So Luka's assists, I do like those. In terms of his rebounds is probably the safer play. It could be. But if you like hit rates, the rebounds is the best, right? With the Lakers, without LeBron, he's averaging 10.8 rebounds a game. He's over this line in every single one of them. I think Luka's rebounds, you're consistently going to have him getting between 8 to 12 rebounds, I think, until LeBron James comes back. The reason being is Luka is always going to be defending the worst offensive player on the other team. The Lakers, they also lack rebounders. Like, there's not many people. You could say Luka, Austin Reeves, probably the ones you can most rely on to get rebounds right now. They get the minutes. They have a good feel for the game. Whereas these other guys, they're shot blockers. They box out. They do all the right things you should be doing. Whereas Luka and Reeves, they're going to chase some stats for you. So I do like Luka to get some rebounds for that fact. The matchup is fantastic for his assists. So I'm just taking the rebounds and assists at 17.5. Now, if this does move to 18.5, the pivot that I would suggest is to take his rebounds at 8.5, provided it's still there, of course. If it moves to 9.5, pick your poison. But Luka Doncic, that's the first pick that I'm on. The next one I'm on is in this Wizards versus Utah Jazz. And I'm taking Kyle Filipowski. I got the name right in this one. I'm looking at his over 22.5 points and rebounds in this one. He's only hit this in 8 out of his last 27 games. But the key call out here is that John Collins is out and Walker Kessler is out due to rest. Whether he's resting or not doesn't bother me. But looking at his games without John Collins and Walker Kessler is over in 5 out of 10. Nothing special there. But more recently, his last 5 games without Kessler and Collins, he's over this line in every single game. And the reason being, he's playing about 30 minutes in those games. And he's projected to play 30 minutes in this one. So I'm liking Kyle Filipowski. If he's playing at least 28 minutes, look how great the hit rate is there. 28.7 points and rebounds as an average. Now, he's got an extremely soft matchup here against the Washington Wizards. What the hell was that? Washington Wizards, who allowed the most points, the most rebounds to centers from the start of the season up until now. They're just leaking it. Now, Alex Sarr has some offensive and weak side blocking talent, but as a rebounder, as a defender, there's still a lot that he needs to improve on. I don't think someone like Kyle Filipowski can take advantage of this matchup. So if you look more recently, 2 weeks ago, he versed the Washington Wizards. And in that game, no Markkanen, no Collins either. Wow, how crazy. This line just moved to 23.5. So to answer that question, would I take it at 23.5? Yes. So he just versed the Wizards 2 weeks ago. No Collins, no Kessler in that game either. He managed to get 23 points, 13 rebounds in 29 minutes. So he absolutely punished them in that short amount of time. He's projected to play the same amount of time. He's going to get the similar matchup. I'm not saying he goes off for 23 and 13, but we've got a gap here between 36 and 24 points and rebounds. I definitely think Kyle Filipowski can make it happen. The way I think it happens, though, I expect him to start the game slow in terms of the scoring department. And the reason why I say that, Lauri Markkanen is playing in this game. And at the start of games, he's throwing up so many shots purely based on the fact that I think he knows he's not going to see much time in the second half. So early in these games, as a late, Laurie Markkinen's been letting that ball fly. I think that's going to impact Kyle Filipowski early in the game, but in the non-Markkinen minutes, and especially in the second half, I can see Filipowski getting it done in terms of scoring. The rebound should be there from start to finish. So that's why I'm rolling with Kyle Filipowski in this one. Talking about over 22.5. It's just moved to 23.5, and I would still be playing it there. Man, how crazy is that? Fresh line movement mid-recording. So, all right, let's look at the third pick. This last pick, I love it to death for some reason, but let me explain it to you. I'm taking Oso Ighodaro, and I'm taking him over 5.5 points. Now, you're probably thinking, who the hell is Oso Ighodaro? He's the third string center for the Phoenix Suns. And I like it because recently he started to get a lot more minutes. And you can see it in this graph. His last 4 games, his minutes have skyrocketed. So Oso is projected to play 27 minutes on the season. He's averaging between 14 points, 14 minutes per game. Now he's set to double that. 27 minutes is projected for. As of late, he's been seeing between 25 and 32 minutes. So there's probably room for even more. And the reason for this is that our good friend Bol coaching staff has lost trust in him for no reason. Well, they probably have a reason. He's not in the starting lineup. He's only projected to play like 10 to 12 minutes. And that's what we're seeing here. Bolbo, he's gone. Oso is in, playing behind Nick Richards. And now what's funny about the minutes projection here, Ighodaro is projected to play 27 minutes. Nick Richards is projected to play like 25. So even though Oso's coming off the bench, they're expecting him to play more minutes than Nick Richards. And what's crazy is Nick Richards, his points and his rebounds line is so much higher than Oso's. So I'm rolling with Oso on this one. Now let's look at some data real quick. If we look at some games where he plays at least 25 minutes on the season, check this shit out. When he plays 25 minutes, he's over this line in 9 out of 10 games, averaging 8.4 points per game. And what I also love about this for Oso is that he's got a great matchup here against the Chicago Bulls. How do I explain it? The Bulls give up the most points to the pick and roll man, which is how he scores his points. They give up the most points in the restricted area, which is where he scores his points. They give up the most points in the paint. They play at the fastest pace. Like defensively, like this is just a great matchup for Oso to get some points. And 5.5 is a really nice line. Just need to get some dunks. There's 3 dunks, 2 layups, a couple of free throws, like whatever it may be. I reckon he can make it happen. Now, this line is definitely on the move. If it moves to 6.5, I would still be playing it. Obviously, I love the 5.5 because it's such a key number. But the 6.5, I think is great. If you want to talk about value plays, being honest with you, I took him for 10 points as well. And that was at like plus 375. You can see here he scored 10 points in 4 out of the 10 games where he plays more than 25 minutes, and he's got a great matchup to do so against the Bulls. We've got a total of 235. I can definitely see it happening here for Oso. So I took him over his points. Let's go. Pumping the brakes real quick to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel. Drop me a comment down below, like the video, all that good stuff. Now, yesterday, released a video that pretty much said I quit my full-time job, trying to create more content, but realistically, a lot of my time is being spent with my son as the full-time carer. In that video, I did announce that, 1, I'm trying to grow my personal brand, so follow me on TikTok. I'll leave a link to that down below in the video description. And 2, I'm recruiting right now. Recruiting for what? I don't know. I'm looking for smart, intelligent, analytical, sports betting people who can help me build this empire known as Daft Previews. I don't know exactly what I'm looking for, but it is something to do with sports betting, and I basically need help to get this thing running. Whether you're great at picks outside of the NBA or in the NBA, or you've got tools, analytics, if you're a developer, if you do websites, internet stuff, whatever it is, if you think you can help me, I would love to hear from you. I'll leave a link down below to a Google form. It's got some questions around sports betting. You can fill that out. I'll be reviewing that over the next week, and I'll be reaching out to some people for an interview. So if you're interested in doing all that stuff, you can check it out. Links are in the video description down below. And whilst I've got your attention, I thought I'd bring to you this. So this is my newest partner. They're called Wanna Parlay. Now, normally I would discourage you guys from betting on parlays. Of course, it's not the most profitable strategy out there. But Wanna Parlay actually works a little bit different because the whole aim of this particular game is to put down some parlays. You enter a competition. Everyone in that competition puts down a parlay at the same time. And you pretty much have to see who can win the best parlay. So And whoever does win the best parlay does get prizes. And I think it's a really interesting concept, taking sports betting and then turning it into a game. So it's a really interesting app. Being transparent with you guys, I obviously get a kickback if you sign up to them. But there's a couple of reasons why you should sign up to them. And this is what I would be doing. One, 100% deposit match up to $250. Like, that's free money on the table already. But two, what I would be doing on this particular app, because in this app, they're transparent around everybody's results. You can see what everybody's doing. Not only do you have access to like big payouts, right? You can enter a competition for $2, and then you could potentially win $10,000, right? If you win that competition. So, but what I would be doing is looking at this. So everything is public, meaning every parlay that's placed on there is shown. Win or lose, you'll be able to see it all. What you'll also see is who is doing really well in these parlays. So what I would be doing if I was you, I'd be signing up to this app. I'd be checking it out. I'd play with it a little bit, of course, but I would be looking to see who is the best at building these parlays. Because for most people, parlays are a losing strategy. It's not what I would encourage anybody to do. But for some people, if you can work it out, that's where the big money is. Like, without my parlays, I wouldn't be up 250 units this season. Absolutely not. It'd be impossible for me to get there. But I have a good parlay strategy. I'd be interested in checking out this app to see who's parlaying and what are they doing. Is it correlation? Is it overs? Is it unders? Like, what is the link? How are they doing it? And what's their strategy? That's what I encourage you guys to check out. So if you do want to check out Wanna Parlay and you sign up to them, use the code DAFT or use the link that I'll leave in the video description below. Obviously, I'll throw in the kicker. If you happen to sign up with them, make your first deposit, send me a screenshot of it, and I'll give you a month of my VIP picks for free. You can trial that thing out. So that's called Wanna Parlay. Now let's get into those leans that I have on this upcoming set. Let's go. All right. Now, I like a lot of the games that are on this, which is a bit scary because for the last couple of days, I haven't really liked it as much. But a lot of these teams seem to be checking out. Mavericks, Pacers. I think there's opportunity in this game. We just need to know who's playing. Halliburton, diamond out of his mind. I will call that out. Unfortunately, Hallie's got a back problem at the moment, so we'll see what happens with him. PJ Washington to score some points. That's definitely something that I'd be considering, depending on who's playing and who's not. Rockets versus the Magic. I think there's a couple of good looks here. I think Franz under. Whether I'm still deciding whether to play Franz under his points, or do I play him over his rebounds and assists, or do I play both of them? That I'm still tossing up. Played Houston not too long ago. He had 12 rebounds and assists. Smashed this. In terms of his points, his line's at 22.5. Only had 15 points against the Houston Rockets. Somewhat difficult matchup for Franz in that one. This Houston Rockets team, can't help but think about Dylan Brooks. He's just been going ham. He's been very consistent without Eamon Thompson. And when I say consistent, like the volume's been there. Taking a whole lot of shots without Eamon Thompson in the lineup. So Dylan Brooks to get some points. That's one way that I'm leaning at the moment. What else do we have? Pistons versus the Heat. Now, these teams, very predictable. The Pistons, very weak at defending in the pick and roll above the break. So someone like a Tyler Hero has got a great matchup to score some points. The problem is Tyler Hero is playing like ass right now. So I don't know if I could take that. Another one is Cade Cunningham. The Miami Heat are the complete opposite. They're pretty good at taking away your key players. So Cade Cunningham under in points is the one that I'm considering. But I'm also considering an over in his rebounds and assists. One, he's got a great rebounding record against the Miami Heat this season. Check it out. Here's his boards. 8, 7, and 11. We're getting a line of 5.5 at plus money. Rebounds and assists. He's cashed out in 2 out of the 3 games. So leaning the over that way. Not sure which one I'm going to play at one unit, though. Is it under in points, over in rebounds and assists? Malik Beasley's got a great matchup to score some points today. He didn't shoot very well in his last game against the Pelicans, so it could be a bounce-back spot for him. So Malik Beasley, great matchup, could get it done. No interest in Tobias Harris and Jalen Duren at this present moment, but you never know. I could wake up a little bit inspired. Knicks versus Spurs. Obviously, everything's running through Stephon Castle and Devin Vassell at the moment. One of these guys is going to cover this line. You probably just have to do some research to figure out who it's going to be because they're going to be seeing all the volume. OG Anunoby had one of the worst games I've ever seen him play. I think there could be a good bounce back spot for him against the Spurs. I'm not betting it because everyone will go crazy. It's like, how could you bet on this guy and lose 2 times in a row? the same way I did with Brook Lopez. And then you know what Brook Lopez did today? 16 points. It's always the way that it happens. But I think Karl Anthony Towns could have a strong rebounding night here. Line's at 12.5. Hasn't been rebounding very well lately. I get that. So it could be another one of those Josh Hart rebounding efforts. He could go crazy. 13 boards last game against the Heat. It could happen. He could be floating with a triple-double again. We've got the Pelicans versus the Wolves. Anyone versus the Pelicans has a good matchup. These guys haven't played each other in quite some time, but we're looking at a potential blowout here at 13. The problem is, right, with these blowouts, a lot of them, they're not happening in these games where the spread's like 13, 15. Like the blowout's not necessarily happening. It's happening in these games with a 2-point spread, which makes it a little bit unpredictable at the moment. But the Wolves versus the Pels. The Pels are a great matchup for everybody on the Wolves, pretty much. Ant, Randall, McDaniels, Dante, Nas, Gobert, they all have a good matchup. So that's what makes it a bit difficult. Like, who's going to take advantage of said matchup? Because they all have a great matchup here. And then you've got the Pelicans, and it's pretty much Zion all you can rely on. Zion's got a difficult matchup, but the way that Zion plays, probably can find his way to the basket anyway. He's probably the only one that I'd be considering betting on from that Pelicans team right now. 76ers Thunder. I think a real obvious pick right now is Quentin Grimes. He's been killing it as of late. He's over this line in 5 consecutive games. 76ers are tanking, so his usage rate is absolutely crazy. Yeah, 30, 40%. It's like 30 to 35% his average usage rate over the last 5 games. It's absolutely nuts. But he's up against OKC, and OKC tend to shut people down. But we don't have any Lou Dort in this one. So does that weaken them a little bit? In case of Wallace get the jump done on his own? That I'm not too sure on. But Quentin Grimes, I think that's a real interesting one. What else do we have? Chet got a very high line. No SGA, no Jalen Williams. Hartenstein's a game time decision. So we could get a big game out of Chet in this one. We don't have any evidence of that because SGA doesn't miss many games, but Chet could have a big game. Aaron Wiggins, obviously another great scoring option. And Cason Wallace, more recently, showed us a bit of that offensive arsenal in a couple of games, especially since Jalen Williams has been out. We've got the Wizards versus the Jazz. Lauri Markkanen, one that I'm considering for Laurie is his first quarter points prop. Ever since he's come back from this injury, his fake injury, I don't know if it's real or not, but he's gone over this line in 4 consecutive games, right? And what I love about this is Laurie's taking so many shots. The fewest shots that he's taken in a first quarter since he's come back is 6. And I think it's because Laurie knows he's not going to see many minutes in the second half. So in that first quarter, he's just letting that shit fly. So Laurie in the first quarter, that's one thing that I'm considering betting on. And Alex Sarr. I would have loved it if Kessler Walker was playing, but we're seeing a lot of 19.5 right now for Alex Sarr. He's up against Utah. He scored 21 points against them last time, but he was extremely efficient. I don't know if he could do that again. So I'd probably be leaning towards his under. This line's a little bit too high for my liking. And someone else which could be sneaky. This could be the greatest bet you've ever made or one of the worst. AJ Johnson. So AJ Johnson played in the NBL, which is here in Australia. Drafted into the NBA. He's barely seen minutes this season, as you can tell. More recently, the Wizards resting players or they're injured. AJ is seeing a lot more game time. He's projected to play the most minutes for this Washington Wizards team. He can pretty much score, rebound, and assist. He can do it all as a point guard. If I was betting on him, I'd be looking at his PRA in this game. Massive upside. Utah, not very good defensively. There's no stats to back it up. We're looking at someone who's about to see more minutes than he's ever seen against a really soft matchup. So AJ Johnson, he could absolutely cream this line easy, or he continue to be completely trash. But yeah, I definitely lean to his over. We got the Grizzlies versus the Blazers. A couple of game time. I think Santi's a game time decision in this one. Duop Reith is someone who catches my attention. So he just started seeing minutes more recently. And in that time, he's been scoring quite well. Donovan Clingan has been their only center for quite some time now with Ayton and Rob Williams out. They tried to play a lot of small ball with Denny playing the 5, but hasn't necessarily worked for them too well in some of those games. So Duop Reith is now seeing some minutes. And Duop Reith is a big man who can shoot from outside. And if he has any time against Zach Edey, I think you're going to see Duop Reith wide open at the top of the key. I think he can make a couple of 3-pointers in this one. So Duop Reith is one that I'm considering. And for this Grizzlies team, there's no jar, so Desmond Bain, it looks like he's going to be the guy. But once again, his lines are really high. And I said that last time. He had 54 PRA against the Sacramento Kings. But once again, I think it's high, and I don't know if I'm down to play that. Jaren Jackson Jr., he sucked in that last game. Could be a bounce back spot for him, but I'm not going to put money on it. We've got the Bulls versus Suns. We've got a couple of great matchups here, and I say that because both of these teams suck defensively. I'm already on Oso, Booker and Durant. I'm not overly keen on them, but Ryan Dunn's been in the starting lineup now for 3 games, and he's covered this line in all 3 games. So Ryan Dunn, decent matchup to score some points here. He's been playing extremely well, but it's a very small sample size. I wanted to bet on Trey Jones over his points and assists. He's been killing that lately, but Josh Giddey might be back in this game, or he's more likely to be back. So Josh Giddey, he torched the Phoenix Suns the last time he played them. Gave him 24 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds. So I don't like betting on players when they just come back from injury. But I think Trey Jones or Josh Giddey, if he plays, I think those are really good looks if you want to bet on someone from Chicago. And Denver Nuggets versus the Lakers. So already got to look on Luka, but I'd honestly make the same play for Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves over his rebounds and assists, 10.5. Massive hit rate here, especially without LeBron. Even with Luka, he's got it done many times before, and he's up against Denver. Really soft matchup. He can make it happen. So from the Lakers, I'd be looking at those 2, rebounds and assists. If you want some scorers, I think you got to look at the spot-up shooters here against Denver. Dalton Connect, Gabe Vincent. I think those are the 2 guys who can light them up from outside, especially Luka and Austin Reeves. And for the Denver Nuggets, tough team to bet on right now. They better without Jokic. Up against the Lakers again. Jokic has been scoring the ball quite well. The assist department is quite low. I only had 5 assists from 9 potentials in his last game against the Los Angeles Lakers. Line's at 9.5 here. And you get that for plus money if you take the under on Nikola Jokic. Could be an interesting look. But Aaron Gordon is back. That might help things. But yeah, at the same time, Jokic quite difficult to bet on right now, like most of these guys from Denver. So I'm avoiding them. Then we got the Cavs versus the Kings. And being honest, I haven't looked into this game too much. Last game of the slate, Cavs absolutely sucked in that 4th quarter against the Clippers. Now they're up against the Kings. Kings are playing, I don't know, okay, I would say. But yeah, I've got no bets in this one just yet because I don't know who's exactly playing. But just in terms of matchups, you'll see, a lot of the role players, Max Strus, for example, has a great matchup. Spot-up shooters will have good matchups. Jonas Valanciunas, probably not the best matchup in the world, but if Sabonis is no good, then Jonas Valanciunas at big minutes, especially with Jared Allen out there, good matchup for rebounds, good matchup for some points as well. DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Monk, I couldn't tell you what these guys are going to do. I hate it when there's too many options in one team. It does make it a little bit difficult for betting. But yeah, I'll have a lot of looks. I'm going to wake up in the morning and try to reduce my list down. I probably skipped over a couple of leans that I had written down, but as I flick through, those are the names that jumped out to me. But we'll see what happens. But I am feeling good. I like this slate. I honestly do. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I have too many options, whereas sometimes I feel like I haven't had that much, and I probably played bets that I shouldn't have bet on, but not today. It's about which ones do I eliminate, because I do like quite a few. Hopefully it's a normal day. I hope if there is a blowout, it's a blowout that you could predict. If there is an upset, actually, I'm not predicting any upsets, so hopefully that doesn't happen, but we'll see. But I do thank you if you made it this far in the video. I thank you for your what the fuck am I trying to say? Your never-lasting support. What the hell's never-lasting? Man, my English is so bad. Thank you for all the support. I wish you guys the best of luck. I hope we get back to winning ways. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.